Hey, what's up there, folks? Welcome back to another train simulator video. We are back on the, and I'm going to get it right this time, it has been changed, the New York Division Bergen County Line. I guess that's what they call it. Minerman changed it. I need to get in the groove of actually calling it what it's named. But Bergen County Line, we are back. We're going to be taking a look at the Nabisco Spur, which is where we're at presently, and Carlton Hill. Both little spurs, branches, whatever you want to call them. Where we're at now, of course, is the Nabisco Spur. And for those of you that may not know, Nabisco is they're basically a cookie and a cracker and tasty treat manufacturer. And they're pretty much international, I think, but they make all kinds of tasty goodies. Where we're at now is the, of course, named for Spur, the Nabisco Spur. This whole area back here is all Nabisco. And what's funny about this is this place recently shut down this year, not about 10 days ago. And I just found that out a couple of days ago before making this video. So that's kind of funny and sad at the same time. But anyway, it was opened in 1958, 63 years in operation. This place closed July 16th of this year. Norfolk Southern still delivered to them. They shut down some of the little spurs, but they had still delivered hoppers full of flour, from what I could figure. So anyway, this is the Nabisco area. This right here is their shipping facility. So this is where they load up them delicious little delectable cookies and whatnot. And they would pull them out of here and take them down to pretty much anything that came out of these two spurs we're going to be working today would go down to Jersey City, aka Croxton Yard, and then on from there. So essentially that away. But yeah, this is the whole Nabisco plant, and just like with everything else, Minerman did a fantastic job just laying all this out. It looks really nice the way this. I like the curbing that he used everywhere on a lot of the map. These concrete foundations. I think these in the editor, these are like giant blocks, but the way he laid these out look good. Instead of just having like asphalt, tarmac, pavement, whatever. So that looks really nice. Of course, the facility in itself, like, I can only imagine how much time this took to build. Just this area back here, it would take me, if I could even fathom taking a crack at it, probably days and days and days and days and days with what all he's got mixed. Of course, it's all custom made assets within the assets that were available for the stuff he used for the route. So like the roof of this building, for example, this is one of the things I always like about all the stuff on the Bergen County Line is the rooftops, the vents, the air conditioners, pumps, all that kinds of stuff. You don't really see that a lot in Train Simulator. Anyway, this is the intake side over here. So what we're doing, we are going to say that I'm handling this service today as the engineer, the train crew, and we have already dropped off all the loaded cars that they got, consigned to them today. So this over here is receiving. They receive, let's see, I'm trying to remember here. They receive 4 covered hoppers containing things like flour, sucrose, shortening, sodium bicarbonate, I think, that's baking soda, right? Sodium bicarbonate. So 4 covered hoppers. They receive a tank full of oil, cooking oil. I think it's palm kernel oil. So that's what you see here. So I've got some hoppers and a tanker shoved in there, and of course they would extract them however they may within here. So I've already set these out. We can play it like that. So this is the receiving side. And looking up pictures of this place, like everything else on this route, he nailed it. Everything is pretty much as one-to-one as possible with the assets given. So anyway, that is receiving. Like I said, over here, these 2 box cars, that would have been filled with, all their products, cookies, crackers, little pies, whatever. That would have been filled up in these box cars. And this stuff went in and out quite often. This place got turned several times a week, if I'm not mistaken. But they would generally receive, aka consign, these 5 cars over here, and then they'd ship out, I think, 1 boxcar, but I went ahead and threw on 2 on there just for shiz and gigs, if you will. Anyway, so this is it. This is the Nabisco bit. Now, it is named for them, but there are a couple of other consignees on this branch. And this area is huge. And as always, it looks amazing. The power lines, the bushes, just the way the track is laid out through here. Got the crossing signs and whatnot. Got the weeds growing alongside the track. Just looks really, really good. It's a wholly industrial spur back here. There's not a whole lot besides industry. But anyway, we've got a couple more customers up that away. So what we're going to do is go ahead and hop in here and run up there. So here we are. Like I said, this is shipping. This is receiving. So we're going to head out on the main line. Like I said, we're playing it like I've already dropped off all the loaded cars and swapped out all the empties. So these out here on, you can see the Nabisco siding. That's, you know, that's where they'd be stacked up and get ready to take down to Jersey City, aka Croxton Yard. So I've got a bunch of empties, string of empties set out there. There's 2 more consignees right up here. We'll check those out once we get up there, but let's take off here. Tons of trucks out here, ready to ship goodies worldwide. Oh, what's this over here? We have an accident. I love this bit right through here. The track with the out-of-control weeds. You got all the trees. Like when he laid out all the foliage, because foliage is big to me. I hate when a route is just so arid. You know, it's one thing being a desert, but even in desert settings, you got scrub and brush and stuff like that. But he did a really darn good job with the even the little bits through the track here. But oh, we got a little accident here going on. Looks like somebody ran up under a truck pulling out. Man, you got to pay attention. No texting and driving. All right, so this over here is Public Service Electric and Gas. So essentially, it's the electric company for the county, if I'm not mistaken, or the city. This area is called Fairlawn. Now, they would receive cars every now and then. This is their little spur here. And they would typically be transformers because it's a power substation for the entire neighborhood area, what have you. So, transformers would come in. Now, I tried to set up a little scene over here. They normally get like some kind of flat car, you know, something similar to this. But I tried to represent what they may receive, you know, these transformers and whatnot. And I couldn't really find any that I thought looked good on these, so I just threw a couple of prefab offices up there. So now I don't think they would obviously receive transformers that often, but let's see. I think it was just a flat car of them as needed, and it was consignee. They wouldn't ship anything. So here, the little scene I tried to set up was, you know, a crane pulling these things off the flat car here. So that's what you got going on. But it's a big power station, this area. And it looks good as well. Just stuff everywhere. All kinds of stuff. So much electricity flowing through here, you can feel it in your hair. But yeah, I don't know if this spur is here anymore. Here's our empty car sitting over there, by the way. I don't know if this little spur right here is here anymore. They may have ripped it up. I'm not really sure. It really sucks that everything's going the way of the dodo as far as rail. But you know, that's how it is with trucking and cars, automobiles, and all that stuff. But even here, these buildings, you can tell it's multiple buildings in one. Well, I thought it was. Maybe not. Something looks funky here. I think something was added there. I can't tell what. Yeah, I don't know, because that side looks different than that side. But that's what I did not do, is look at these buildings over here. Again, several buildings in one, as you can tell. Didn't really check out the Nabisco buildings. I should have. Once again, just all kinds of stuff laid out, just so precise, you know, so it lines up and doesn't look weird. There's the main factory here. And over here, like the processing area, receiving. Little building hidden in there. Just all kinds of stuff. I'm thinking this may be like the corporate area, possibly. All the big wigs, the shareholders and whatnot, can sit up there and look out over their domain. But anyway, I like this little bit right here that runs along the road. It's a very pretty, well done area. Just looking down like that, that's gorgeous. Love the way that looks. So yep, you'd have a car full of transformers up there every now and then, I reckon. So again, we're playing it like we have already dropped off all the loaded stuff. So we're gonna pass by the substation up here. Now, next up is a place called, in the game here on the route, it's called Constantine and Tandy. Now, present day, this place over here just to our right, I haven't scooched the camera over there yet. It's a shipping company now. It's called Global Trans Logistics. Now this is the place right here, this warehouse. I couldn't really find much on what it was in real life. The little bit I did find, I think it may have had something to do with leather, like a leatherworks, tanning, something like that. But again, multiple buildings in one. You know, no moment was spared, just getting these buildings to look absolutely right and tip top. So it's a big shipping company now. I think in this iteration, in this time, this is built right here. I think this is more possibly meant to look like what it is present day, which, like I said, is a company called Global Trans Logistics. But this is what that is. Now, you can actually see it on the map. It says Constantine and Tandy, but they received one boxcar a week as needed on demand. I went ahead and threw 2 there just for the hell of it. Of course, they've got the garage bays where they'd come and unload the things. But it's just a nice little spur. It's just, you know, there's not a lot of time you can spend here, but it's one of these things where you can make a run up and down the line and, you know, take loaded cars to and from all these little spurs and all these industries all along the line, you know, and then switch them out and drag the empty or loaded stuff, you know, back to Jersey City. But even this stuff over here, you can tell he spent time making all this. Just very detailed. The stuff on the roof, the venting, it just looks really good. Tons of trucks around here, so there's obviously a lot of industry and shipping going on. Just a cool little area, though. And let's see if I can get my bearings. All right, that's Passaic River right there, I believe. That is the main line. The last video I did on the line was the Dundee Spur, and that is actually not too far. We're actually going to pass by it. So what we're going to do here is we are going to depart the Nabisco Spur with some Some very tasty goodies in hand. And we are going to run this this string of empties down to the Carlton Hill Spur or branch. So we're going to get out here on the main line. This is the Nabisco lead we're heading to, and we're going to back up and grab these other cars here. There's our switch. Got a myriad of cars sitting back there. Of course, you know, what they would have been for the line: box cars, hoppers, stuff like that. And again, if you don't know, and you may have missed it, he has finalized and published this route. So people are currently making scenarios. There's some really good ones out there too. So if you're a scenario builder, you know, give it a shot. See what you can come up with. If you just use them like I do, because I have absolutely no talent there. You know, I want to say there's at least like half a dozen now. But some pretty good stuff out there. All right, we'll go ahead and back up and clap onto this string here. All right, so they are quietly waiting. But yeah, it's a shame, and it's funny, the timing. It's, I don't know if you'd call that ironic, but you know, still trying to pound these videos out of the Bergen County line here, and it just so happens that this, you know, the place for which the spur was named just closed, not, you know, about a week ago, a little over a week ago. That's a shame. I mean, it had to be home to several hundred employees, if not thousands. So it's got to be a bit of detriment to the community itself as well. Alrighty, we got him. So let's set us up for the main line here. Gonna get us off the Nabisco lead and make certain we don't screw this up. I can very much screw it up if I'm not careful here. Alright, that's gravy. There's the Susquehanna interchange. Here's the Dundee Spur. This is the last video I did on this, and someone's made some pretty cool scenarios for this. If you saw the last video I did here on the Dundee Spur, I talked about the last train movement on here was them actually taking the old stock. Well, someone, I think their name is Creative Username, has made several scenarios of that move that day that took place. So that's pretty cool. Alright, and there's where we're going right there, Carlton Hill, which is a very cool little place. So we're going to go ahead and head on down yonder. Do a roll by as we depart here. Of course, we've got the GP38-2 high nose from the Peninsula Corridor route. I think it came with of course, the Searchlight Simulation enhancement pack. get off the lead here. Then we got some line speed. Probably, say about 5 miles maybe, down to Carlton Hill. Now this Carlton Hill place we're going to next is pretty cool. It's got a bit more history to it. It was not just a branch in its heyday. It was part of the Erie Mainline. So anyway, that's what we're going to next here. All right, line speed. Rad burn here. Alright, and for whatever reason, this pack has issues sometimes, and it breaks my tiny little heart. Because I love the GP38-2, and I love this enhancement pack, but sometimes something, you know, fills all the sound channels within the game, and it'll kind of mess it up, I think. I don't know if that's the exact representation of what's going on there, but let me try and unisolate it here. See, I'm getting amps, but the RPMs aren't rising. There we go. Alright, now we're talking. Next up, we got Broadway Fairlawn. One of the other mini industries over to the left there. Alright, we are trucking now. Alright, so it's going to take us a hot minute to get down there, so next up is going to be Carlton Hill right about now. All right, so we made it, thank heaven, down to the Carlton Hill Spur, and this is a pretty cool place. I saved the best for last here as far as the video. I really like this place here. It's got a ton of history. So out here is the main line. We are a bit farther down. This is the original service coming down from the Nabisco Spur, which is up here. Yeah, it's right there. Alright, so we're going to center on right back here. This has got several customers as well, so there's quite a bit to do here. But this used to be part of the old Erie Railroad. It had a station, actually it had a couple of stations on this line. It was the second station on the Erie Mainline on this area. It had passengers and freight. Back then, I think it was just Royce Chemical, but they were the main company. And the station itself, I think it was built in like 1870 or something, and it was in operation until 1966. And the station I'm currently talking about is this station right here, which he so lovingly crafted, of course. This is the old station, you know, for the Erie Railroad back when they used to run passenger services back here. And then after the rush hour, it would be the station for the trying to think of the name, the guy that would handle freight, like the Overwatch dude. I can't think of the name, is escaping the heck out of me right now. But this in itself is a beautiful little area. I love the way it's all built. Of course, you've got the gates here. Traffic backed up. Got the little extra things like the guy setting some, you know, some cones out for road works or what have you. But the place is absolutely cool as hell. So what I've done again is set this spur up for the sake of time. Like, we have already dropped off the loaded cars and we are picking up the empties that we dropped off, you know, a couple of days prior. However you want to think of it. But this line is pretty cool. It's got a bit of history. The line itself continued this way. The way we're going currently facing now is west. And it continued west to a place called Passaic Park. In 1963, the tracks west, past what you see right up there where that turn bridge is, they were ripped up, and this drawbridge right down here was permanently set in that position, sadly. But yeah, it continued on that way. This, of course, is the Passaic River. So, you know, again, he built this area up, and it's really cool. I like the bridge. The river looks great. If you look right down there, there's another bridge. Not too far from here is the Dundee Spur in itself, which is the last video I did. Wait, is it north of us? Yeah, it's north of us. So I'm looking the wrong way like a doof. So yeah, the Dundee Spur is up that way. You might be able to actually see it. Yeah, there you go. So there's all the factories. That's like the wool factory, fabrics, all that good stuff up there. But again, this line is decked out. He spared no time or expense, if you will, making this stuff. There's a sports complex back here, which he's so, you know, detailedly crafted. Ballpark, tennis courts. I like this football stadium over here and track. Somebody needs to get out here with the mower. Dang! That's that grass that I thought I had turned off. But anyway, it's a cool stadium. Have this back here. Just a big park. Now this first customer back here. See if I can remember the name here. This is Nabisco Foods. So there are, I'll just go ahead and go over the consignees on this branch here. There are 4. Nabisco Foods, Frommer Standard, Royce Chemical, and Bell Container. This is Nabisco Foods. They would typically get 1 tank car full of vegetable oil. I think a couple a month. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. 2's a couple. 3 is what? I don't know. They'd get the several a month. We'll just put it like that. But again, it's cool. He's you know, put all the pump station out here so they can suck it out of the tank car into the building there. I'm not sure what kind of foods they made, but you know, as again with all this, everything he's created in this magnificent Bergen County line. I got to train myself to say that, by the way. Bergen County line, not Bergen line. You know, just everything from the foliage and the weeds and these barrels. You know, you got the pallets. It's just it's like it's alive. It's not bare, you know. It's just awesome. These tanks back here, this big facility you can see here. There's looks like some kind of leak going on down there, so somebody might want to call the hazmat dudes and don their suits and come check that out. But it's done up, even, you know, all the way out there where you're not going to go anywhere near with a train. You know, it's still all done up. But this is the end of the line down here, so you'd essentially swap out a tanker with cooking grease or vegetable oil. So we've got one sitting there. Of course, it's got a bunch of trucks and stuff back here. But there's a bit of history about this place. There's some cool stories as well. There's one story in, I believe, the 40s where they were very much still hauling passengers on the line, where a passenger train pulled up to the station over here, and or it was just about to pull up to the station, and people reported, you know, fumes and feeling nauseous and essentially passing out, you know, dropping on the floor. And it turns out one of these tank cars over here at I think it was at Royce Chemical. It might have been Royce Chemical. Anyway, one of these tank cars, the hoses had cracked and it was spilling just noxious fumes. I think it was sulfur dioxide or something like that. Yeah, it was Royce Chemical, now that it's coming back to me. But a pipe split and fumes were spreading all over this area. Like, people in the neighborhoods everywhere were, you know, passing out, feeling ill, getting sick. And so anyway, a train crewman at the back of the train noticed that they were stopped and they weren't moving, and you know, thought it was kind of weird. And people were leaving the train, you know, in a absolute fury, trying to get off the train. And the guy ran up to the engine, and the engine crew were passed out on the floor. So he slammed that reverser. I think he went backwards and got the train out of there, and essentially kind of saved some people, if you will. But it's a cool little story that happened back here. Also, before the intertrack fence was here, right here where the station is, a woman was sadly killed here trying to cross. She was partially blind or something like that. Of course, the train crew didn't see her, and she crossed and got killed right there. And whatever happened, and it went to legislature and the state, and from that they kind of beefed up some safety protocols. So it's you know, it's some good from bad kind of scenario. But there's a little bit of history and story around here. It's a pretty cool area, though. It was hard for me to find photos of it, you know, back in the day, as it were. Even now, I think it is pretty much all but gone. If you look at this on maps, this line does not exist. It's just grown over trees. I think they built another infamous rail trail, which is, you know, it's kind of sad. But anyway, it's a really cool area, and it's one of these places where you can tell you just put a little bit more of extra detail in. But it's just a neat area. I think customers remained out here until the 1980s, and then up until about the 90s, I think they would store maintenance away cars, you know, crap like that everywhere around here. And after that, it was pretty much, sadly, grown over and done. But anyway, so we're here. Let's talk about some of the customers. Now, that was Nabisco Foods, obviously, right? What the frick was that? That was weird. I don't know what that sound was. This over here is Frommer Standard Bleachery. They'll receive 1 tank of formaldehyde. Yeah, that's some sketchy stuff right there, man. They'd also get a boxcar full of bolts and fabric and stuff like that. So I kind of got a tanker sitting over here, which would have been full of formaldehyde, which they would have sucked into their building. So he's got a dude over sitting here by these pumps ready to go. We got this tanker. And it's just, these areas look great. I do really like and admire this route, and that is an understatement. I tried to say that without sounding, you know, too overtly excited and nutty. But this factory right here, this massive smokestack, just look at it, man. And it's not all, you know, it's not all perfectly lined up. It's all, you know, kind of abstract bits here and there, which make it that more special and more realistic. Of course, you got the old spent barrels laying everywhere, and you know, trees and weeds and bushes, employees parked to and fro. Of course, these buildings, for the most part, I think are more of his custom jobs between stuff. Yeah, you can see here. It just looks incredible. It's a huge place. But what was funky about these companies, they shared some spurs, and man, I'm backing up traffic. They're not going to be happy. They shared, I want to say trackage, and they did business with one another, because they used a lot of the same line. And I think you know, one of the companies made something, sent it down to the next, and then da 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 da. So I think they were kind of intermingled with you know, what they produced down here. But this place looks really cool. I love these old brick warehouses and buildings and whatnot. Alright, so that was Frommer Standard Bleachery. So that's where the formaldehyde would have come in. This is the actual Frommer building. So this massive brick building that we just looked at right here, this is where they'd line up the box cars. They got a couple of garages right there. That's where they'd have the boxes of bolts and fabric and stuff like that. And then off to the side here where we got set up, these empty cars essentially is what we'd take down to, again, just like the Nabisco Spur, go down to Jersey City, Croxton Yard, and you know, and then get thrown wherever they're going. So that's where those would go. But this would be like the you know, the marshalling track over here, if you will. Up here, this is really cool too. I like this yard where this building is. But let's just take a moment to appreciate, you know, the way he's built this place, man. Like, got this truck backed up here, guy on a forklift, waiting for him to come open it so he can grab the stuff out of there. These buildings are just awesome, man. And he stuck so many together, and it just looks completely natural. I had no clue for the longest time. I just thought these buildings were legit, and I was like, why have I not seen these buildings anywhere else? I mean, he's essentially made almost every damn one. I kid you not. I'd say at least like 70% of all buildings, maybe more, around here are specially made. Like this one right here, you can tell because this building has that kind of flat thing going on, and then this has got like the peak here. So yeah, it's definitely a couple in one. But it's just an awesome area, and it looks old, you know, it just fits here perfectly. You got all these smokestacks and steam pipes going. Just like looking down at this place is cool. It's just, it's a pretty scene. It really is, just looking from this angle down. So anyway, I'll stop blabbing. Over here, we have got the Royce Chemical. So this is what I was talking about. So this is Frommer, right? But this is Royce Chemical over here to the right. Now, I think they were kind of, you know, one hand, what's the saying? Greases the other. I don't think that's it. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Royce Chemical, they'd get two covered hoppers, and it had different types of sodiums, and as well as a boxcar with 55-gallon drums of whatever they got. And of course, like with a lot of this stuff, it was on demand. But yeah, this area is just awesome. Tons of pallets stuck out here. Anyway, we're going to grab these boxcars. We're going to run up the line there to the main line, and there's a company called Bell up there as well. We'll stop blocking traffic here for a minute. And it is a hill. I was like, why is it called Carlton Hill? It looks pretty darn flat. It is not flat. It's got quite a grade down to the river, and you can actually see the hill itself over to our left here. You'll see it as we pass by. There we go. Alrighty. So we have got the empties The loadeds have been sat out at their appropriate places, and we have now got the empties. I just love the way this spur looks. And you could run it, you know, like with everything else. That's what's so cool about this line, is you can run it. It doesn't have to be one particular, you know, time, age, if you will. You could run it completely Norfolk Southern Conrail, you know, Erie Lackawanna, Erie even if you've got some Erie rolling stock. Make sure we get us out on the line proper here. There we go. But it's just such an awesome area through here. Detail like nothing else. Hardly anything I've ever seen on, you know, the Steam store for the millionth time that cost an arm and a leg. And what's kind of sad is over time this place, you know, went through a lot of disrepair, and it used to have mainline speed. I think, you know, back in the Erie days, I think it was like 50, maybe more. And as the years went on, and you know, and Erie Lackawanna stopped using it, and you know, maintaining and serving it as much. And of course, Conrail and Norfolk Southern, it just got worse and worse, and it turned into one of those places where I think the line speed was less than 10. You know, which is a shame, but anywho. So again, that is, well, let's look at the sun. Yep, okay, that's east, that's west. I get confused because the line goes that way, and then it goes west. So now you can see working intersection. That traffic is moving. Man, there's a ton of traffic going through there too. But I love the old stations, you know, plopped all around the map here. It's got the relay boxes and the safety rails and just, you know, stuff, little trash cans placed out by the homes. This is one of the most alive routes in Train Simulator as far as I'm concerned. You know, just unvanilla. Just, you know, it's like a buffet, essentially. So this is kind of the hill up here. You can see how, you know, it's a bit lower down here on the railroad line and a bit higher there. So it legit is a hill. You know, it's a kind of small hill. You know, it's not like the big hills, aka mountains, you know, off to the west on the map. But just a lovely, lovely route, this whole thing, and these spurs. Now, I know the spurs that we looked at today weren't massive, and that's kind of why I wanted to throw two in one. But again, it just shows you what, you know, what all you can do around here. And that manual he's made, which he's updated, by the way, I'd implore you to go and check that out if you want to run around here and kind of know what you're doing. Because initially I was running around like a chicken with its head cut off. I had no clue what to do. Go take a look at that manual. Read it, save it to your desktop, whatever. It really helps a lot, because it can turn, you know, a head-scratching moment into, a light bulb moment, if you will. And it'll just help you, you know, kind of get runs together, whether you want to do passenger stuff, through freight, locals, all kinds of stuff. It really helps with that. Honestly, I'd be lost without it. I wouldn't be able to even know how to start to begin to lay these videos out without that manual. But he's recently updated as well. So this bridge right here is Montross Avenue. This last customer here is Bell Container. They received 2 boxcars full of craft paper. So whatever they do with that, I am not entirely sure. But again, he's got it set up, you know, got a forklift down there. Got a couple of shrink wrap pallets ready to go. This is just like this is it for me. I love stuff like this. The branch line, short line, single, double track, that real narrow and close feel when it comes to, you know, train simulator or just train lines in general for that matter. It's just got I don't know if it's like nostalgia or, you know, history. I don't know what it is, but I really like stuff like this. But again, with the custom building, there's probably like 17 buildings in one here. And it's all this bell container. Couple of boxcars. We can pretend like we drop those off. And this is it, man. This is the main line right here. So this used to be the old Erie line right here, and that went out west a little bit more that way than it currently does. And there's the interlocking tower right there. I think it's called BJ Tower. And this is actually still here to this very day, which is cool. You know, it's hard to save history and stuff like that, but that's legit there today, as far as I know. I think it is. But that old station we were just looking at down in Carlton Hill, I think that has been demolished a couple of years ago, sadly. But that's what's cool about this route, man. It's been preserved in the we'll say the train sim formaldehyde for you to enjoy. But just detail. It's an amazing route. It's easily one of the best routes in train sim, as far as I'm concerned, if not, you know, a freeware route, just for the sheer fact of operation, what you can do, and just the amount of detail. Like, you'll find something new every time. You really will. And I've had a blast making these videos and running, and I always get sidetracked, and I'll try and plan out a video, and I'll see something, be like, oh, what's that? And I'll start looking that up, and it just stretches on and on and on. But it's you could easily tell it was a passion, and it's awesome that he took the time to make this, and, you know, made it so fantastic and shared it with the world, us train simmers to enjoy, because it is a damn cool place. As far as I'm concerned, this is like one-to-one with the real place. From what I know, I've never been up here, but all the research and photos and videos I've looked at, it's pretty darn special. But that's going to be it, guys. The Nabisco and Carlton Hill branches and spurs. I hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, take care. I'll catch you later.